Yes, people, it is Cam, and here I am recording a mad video. Now, this is a video that is probably long, probably longer than you might have expected. This is something that could have been packaged into a course. That's what those other guys would have done and sold it to you for a high ticket price. This is exactly the same method that I use to scale to £27,000 a month about a year ago, maybe a bit before a year ago. And it's the same thing that I used to teach my students. I used to teach it to my students. They used to have to pay £5,000 to get this information out of me, and you guys are getting it for free. Now, the reason that I'm willing to give this all away is because I don't do this anymore, right? I don't do this anymore. I've moved on to bigger and different things. But if I went down to scratch, you guys know I would go straight back on Upwork. I always talk about that. So in this video, it says how to get, I believe it says 750 to 10,000, how to turn £750 to $10,000 a month. You can make a lot more than that. But if I said that in the title, people might not have believed me. So before I do that, you know, it wouldn't be a cam video if I didn't show you the actual proof. So let's actually jump straight on and actually let me show you the proof. All right, let's just do January, let's say, right? We do January 1st to the 31st, £18,000. Bear in mind, not all payments were on Stripe, but a lot of them were on Stripe. And now let's do February the 1st to February the 1st to February the 28th, 1st of February to 28th February, again 21,000, month after that. And again, this is all through Upwork. Not all payments were taken on Stripe. Some of them were through direct bank transfer. And again, look, 17,000 from Stripe. So now that's out of the way, right? Now that is completely out of the way. You guys know I do this. Anyone that's followed me for some time knows that my first come up was through Upwork, and I'm going to explain every single part of that journey, okay, from start to finish. Now, please don't rush ahead. There are 9 steps. I'm not going to tell you the 9 steps. Do you know why? If I do tell you guys the 9 steps, some people are going to think that they're sick, and they're going to think, I don't need to learn that step, and skip ahead to step 7, 8, 9, whichever step they think is the most important. All these steps need to be used together. Okay, there is a reason at the moment that you're watching this video, and the reason you're watching this video is probably because you're not at £10,000 a month. So if you're not at £10,000 a month, you're not as sick as you think you are. I know that that's a crazy thing to think, but at this business specifically, you're not as good as you think you are. So please watch all of it, whether that means you have to take your time, whether that means that you have to sit down, pause it, take notes, do whatever you have to do. Get through this whole video if you want to make £10,000 a month. If you don't want to know everything that you need to know, then you might as well click off now. But I'm going to jump straight into it. So here are the things that you will need. Okay, here is what you will need, or the skills that you will need. So the first thing that you will need is you will need the skill of sales. You will need to know how to sell. If you do not know how to sell, then you'll have to learn how to sell. And if you learn how to sell, then this will work for you. The other thing that you will need is you will need discipline/consistency. Like with everything, you will need discipline and consistency. Now, that's not to say that this is going to take 3 years to work. It's probably going to take 3 months of consistency. 3 to 6 months of consistency will get you to that 10K a month and upwards. And then the last thing that you will need is you will need $750 to pay me for my course. No, that's not true, but you will need $750. It's not to pay me for my course. I don't have a $750 course, but you will need $750 in order to do this. The reason I say that is there's going to be a few things that you're going to need to pay for. So for example, you're going to need to pay for Upwork Connects. Now, again, like I said in my last video, if you don't have the money, then get the money. If you do have the money, then spend the money. Very, very simple. Don't try and start this with $10. If you don't have $750, then you need to get that $750. Bye. Cool, perfect. Now, step 1, or really step 2. The first thing that you need to do is you need to find an in-demand service on Upwork. That is the first thing that you need to do, okay? Now, do you want to go high ticket or do you want to go low ticket? This is your first crossroads. You can decide this on your own. Now, what people are going to tell you is people are going to tell you that there is no high ticket clients on Upwork. Completely false. Completely false. I have signed an £8,000 a month deal straight off of Upwork, and he ended up staying for around 10 to 11 months. So that's £80,000 to £88,000 from Upwork from one client. So There is high ticket clients on Upwork. I personally did high ticket because I have always been quite good at sales, and because I've been quite good at sales, I was able to go high ticket. But you might want to go low ticket. There's a difference in business models. A lot of people do go low ticket, high volume. So that is all down to you. Now, some examples of in-demand services. Look how many I've given you, man. This is really, 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 really. This is everything you need, okay? So you might want to go social media marketing, right? But if you do go social media marketing, then let's get more specific. So you could do Facebook ad lead generation, Facebook ads for e-com, TikTok ads, Google ads, YouTube ads. You could do social media management. You could do video editing. Now, one thing I will say, I would stay away from super saturated spaces. Now, I'm not sure how saturated video editing is, but about a year ago, everyone decided that they were going to start this short form video editing. It got very saturated, and it was also low ticket, and it was just difficult. Now, alternatively, you could do copywriting, email marketing, SMS marketing, chatbot build outs. You could do website creation, but again, more granular, SEO, conversion rate optimization, funnel creation, app creation. There's loads that you can do, right? Now, if you know how to do one of these services, then perfect, do that. If you don't know how to do any, then don't worry. What you can do is you can find somebody who does know how to do them on Fiverr, or alternatively on Upwork, partner up with them, tell them, look, I'm going to sign the deals, you're going to fulfill the work, split the money, and you're all good. So the most important thing that I want you to think is, don't make this about you, make it about your prospects. Do not make this about you, make it about your prospects. I've said it twice because it is so important. So most people think about skills that they like, that they want to do, that they think might be valuable. Forget that. It's not about what you know, it's about what is in demand, what people want, what your prospects want, what your potential clients want. That is what it is all about. So find an in-demand service on Upwork. Now, the good thing about Upwork is you can literally find services that are in demand. You can literally search them. You can search for jobs. There's lots of jobs. For example, Facebook ads obviously is going to have loads of jobs. Look, 2 minutes, 4 minutes ago, 26 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. That was last week. 38 minutes ago, 41 minutes ago. There is so many people that need Facebook ads. If you type in something else, might not be that in demand. Now, I'm not saying that you need the most popular, the most saturated jobs in the world, but you need something that people at least have somewhat of a demand for, okay? So that is step number one, find an in-demand service on Upwork. Now, I know that I'm glossing over this quickly. This might take you a little while, but by a little while, I mean 30 minutes to an hour of deep work thinking, looking on Upwork, seeing what's in demand and where you can fit into the space. Your goal is to find something that has the highest demand and the least amount of supply, but don't think for too long on this. I know what people are like. I know you might come off and think for weeks about what service I need to do. Find it, do it, figure it out, decide within the hour. All of these services you can scale to 10K a month. I promise you there's someone out there that's doing it. And if there's someone out there that's doing it, why can't that person be you? Okay, now, next thing that I want to get into is the next thing that you do is you upscale the service, you make it unique and more valuable. Now, this is make or break. This is super important to do, to upscale the service and make it more valuable. Now, what I'm going to do is, you guys know that I did Facebook ads. So I'm actually going to show you some of my offers. Now, as you can see, these are down because I don't actually do this anymore. So yeah, sorry about that. But just to show you guys, look, the offers that I had is we guarantee ecom brands lower cost per acquisition at scale in the next 28 days. And I had another offer, which is we help coaches, consultants, and agency owners find and monetize their niche. Okay, so they were my two offers, right? Now, what you'll notice is this doesn't look anything like this. The offers aren't Facebook ad lead generation. They aren't Facebook ads for ecom. They aren't TikTok ads. So with the offer, we must do something different. And you're absolutely right. So this part is very make or break. This is the first important step that you've got to. Now, they're all important, but this is the most important thing so early on. Now, this is where you build out an offer of the services you're providing that more effectively solves your prospects' problems than your competitors. Now, I'm going to take a quick drink. I want you guys to think about that. Okay? Now, you need to make sure that your service, the service that you're providing, more effectively solves your prospects' problems than your competitors. Now, I'm going to explain how you do that. So, the way that you voice that initially is to speak more to your prospect's end goal / transformation than your service, and also touch on all the small problems that come along the way. So, what I was doing with my first offer is I was doing Facebook ads for ecom. Okay, but if we look, my offer says that we guarantee ecom brands a lower cost per acquisition at scale in the next 28 days. Now, business owners, right? Let's see if I've written it here. Let's see if I'm a genius. Here I have. So, the reason that this is important is because business owners and people who are on Upwork have an end goal, they have their desire in mind, and then they believe that this one service is going to help them get to their end goal. Now, more often than not, that's not actually true, but they think it will. So somebody who wants Facebook ads doesn't actually want Facebook ads. Instead, what they want is, for example, an e-commerce owner wants a lower cost per acquisition at scale. That's what they want. Or they want to be able to scale their business. They don't want Facebook ads. Nobody wakes up and thinks, Facebook ads. No, it's not that they want Facebook ads. They want to get to a specific desired goal. And that is what you should speak to when you're writing your offer. That is what's going to help stick you out from all the other prospects, from all the other people that are fighting for these jobs. Everybody else is going to be offering Facebook ads. You're going to be offering the end goal. And what that does is that makes your offer one of one, which is very important on Upwork, because when applying to jobs on Upwork, there's going to be hundreds of people applying, and the only way that you're going to be able to stand out is if you have a one-of-one offer, which is what you're going to do. Now, look, as I wrote, remember, most of the time your prospects actually have more than one problem. So in order for them to get to their end goal, they think they need Facebook ads, when really they need Facebook ads. They need they need better conversion rate optimization. They need better copy. They need a plethora of things that are done better, but they don't realize it. They actually just want their desired transformation, and they think that just that one particular service in Facebook ads is going to help them get there, right? So that is where the money is made. You're going to make your offer unique and more valuable than everybody else's because you're going to touch on the end goal. It doesn't matter what needs to be done, you're just going to touch on the end goal, okay? Now, after you've built out your offer should be your pride and glory. That should be the Hail Mary, right? That is the most important thing that you have right now. This is the money maker. This is what's going to take you to that £10,000 a month mark. Now, once you've got your offer, and only once you've got your offer, now you're going to build your Upwork account. Not the other way around. This needs to be done in chronological order. Once you have got your offer, now you can build your Upwork account, okay? Now, something that I just want to touch on is that I've been on both sides, right? I've applied for thousands of jobs. I've also hired lots of people on Upwork. So I know how this goes. I know what a good account looks like. But if you want to know what a good account looks like, then what I would recommend, my little top tip, my little cheat code, my little hack would be to post a perfect job that you would apply for and then look through everyone's profiles that you rate and take inspiration from them. So if I was looking to do what I used to do, I would type, hey, I'm an e-commerce brand looking for help with my Facebook ads. I would see who applied. I'd see the people that stuck out to me, and I'd look at their pages and think, what do I like about these guys' pages? Well, I like this guy's description, and I might take a little bit of inspiration from them. That is how I started in the space. I started with that, and I also paid for a mentor, which helped a little bit as well. So let's get into it. So everything, I'm going to go through everything with the Upwork account, every single thing. Like I said, this is a step-by-step, this is comprehensive. All I want, like I said, I don't want your money. I said it in the last video. I don't want your money. I just want you to tell people that this is an amazing video. I want you to share it with your friends. I want you to like it because this is genuinely going to help you get to £10,000 a month. I have many students who are currently doing this. That's why I said it still works in January 2024, because I have many students who are still making more than 10K a month from this method right now, okay? So, profile picture, I'm not even giving you a chance to wriggle out. I'm giving you everything. Profile picture, Don't dwindle on this for too long. You need a good camera quality. It needs to be a headshot, and you should be smiling. That's the most important thing. You don't have to be super, super smart. You don't have to be wearing a shirt and tie. Smiley, headshot, and we're good. Next thing that you need to do is your price. So on your page, there is a section where you select your price, right? You select how much you charge for things. Pick a price between $15 and $30. Don't try and go super crazy with this. This doesn't mean this is how much you're going to charge, but just put $15 to $30, okay? Next thing, skills. So pick 10 skills that relate to your niche / service. If you don't know what I mean when I'm saying skills, you will. When you get to UpWork to building out an account, it asks you what your skills are. Just pick 10 skills that relate to your niche / service. Don't overthink this. All this stuff doesn't matter that much. That's why I'm doing it very quickly at first. Employment history. Write an employment history that relates to your niche. That's all. Don't write about how if you want to do, again, I'm always going to refer to Facebook ads. If you want to do Facebook ads, don't write about how you used to work as a doctor, because no one actually cares about that, right? We want to know how it relates to your niche. Now, don't say you don't have any. Find a way to make something linked to your niche, no matter how wide you have to go. So, for example, when I used to say Facebook ads, I worked with, there was a tutor in my area that I actually worked as. I worked as a tutor when I was like 16, 17. And I remember I've helped him with his Facebook ads. Now, in helping him with his Facebook ads, I helped him take a picture one time when we were doing tutoring, and he put that as a Facebook ad. Now, for me, my employment history was that I helped a tutoring brand with their Facebook ads. No matter how wide you have to go, think of a way that your current experience links to what you're doing, right? Find a way. There is a way, I promise. Find a way. If you don't think there's a way at the moment, then find one, okay? Sometimes I can be cutthroat, but you know our brand is cut the crap, so I have to be, okay? Now, something I want to say. Write as much as possible. Now, this goes for the first few things. This goes for employment history. It goes for most of your profile. The more that you write, the better, okay? Now, I'm going to explain to you why. So most people don't actually read things. They skim things at very best, but most people don't read. Now, psychologically, more is better, especially when it comes to social proof and when it comes to reviews and things that aren't actually important, but the fact that it's there is important, okay? Now, I'll ask you this. If you went on a website, for example, and it had hundreds of thousands of case studies and they were all different videos, you might watch 10 seconds of one, but you would not watch all of them. So why has he got hundreds of thousands of videos on the page, or even hundreds, should I say? The reason he has it there is because they know that the more they have, the less likely you are to read. If for example, on our funnel, if we had just one testimonial, you'd probably all read it. But because we have so many, you don't end up reading it, right? Now, this can work to your advantage if you are someone with loads of testimonials, but also if you're someone who doesn't actually have loads of testimonials, you know that if you get loads of okay testimonials, then people aren't actually going to read them and they're just going to think that more is better. So, for example, in employment history, really flesh this out. Write as much as you can. People are not going to read this, but they're going to get to it and think, employment history, he did Facebook ads for a tutoring company, must be good. Most people are going to think that, right? Most people are going to think that. Okay, make your profile look full. Now, next thing is you have other experience on your UpWork account. Same as above, same exact thing. Think of other experiences that you have that relate to your niche. Just find a way to do it. Yeah. Okay. Now, certifications, not that important, but find one that relates to your niche and get it. Simple. Like I'm not. My thing's very cut the crap. I'm not going to go super in depth. All this stuff, you think that it matters on UpWork, or there might have been someone that told you this stuff matters on UpWork. It doesn't matter. Or if it does matter, then it doesn't matter in relation to what we're doing. You can get to 10K a month with this stuff being a little bit wishy-washy. Like I said, the only thing I'll say is just try and fill as much out as you can. And even as you can is that's a weasel word. Fill it out. Just fill it out. It's quite easy to fill out. If anyone needs any particular help, then shoot me over a DM and I'll help you with that. If you can't find a certification, there we go. It's not the end of the world. Now, testimonials. This is a little bit more important. So with your testimonials, sorry. Testimonials not important. Sorry, it's case studies that are important. I didn't know how I worded them. Testimonials not very important, but if you can get a friend to leave you a testimonial or someone that you've helped, that would be helpful. Now, sorry about that. That was a mess up. Now, title. The first part that actually is important. The first part that's juicy. So, title. With your title, what I do is I write in the service that I'm providing, master / specialist, and then I relate it to something that my prospects will type in. Okay, so do not for your title put your offer. I know it feels like your offer is your biggest punch, and it definitely is. But the reason that your title is important is because when people search for things, people can actually search for a list of people that they want to help with what they're doing. They're never going to search for example, in my case, I would like a lower cost per acquisition. Instead, they're going to search for Facebook ads. So what I would do is I would write Facebook ads master. Now, after I do that, what I do, see, we say not your offer. What I would do is I would write something broad and then I'd write something more specific and I would split them up. So let me actually show you my profile or the profile that I have. How do I get to my profile? Yeah, if I just show you my profile and I'll explain exactly what I mean by that, or I'll be able to show you exactly what I mean by that. We go to my profile. So look, Facebook ads and sales funnel expert is the second part. And then at the start, it says client acquisition partner. So the first part is a lot more broad, Facebook ads and sales funnel expert, because that's what people are going to type in. And then I go specific and put client acquisition partner. So same thing that you guys should do. Do one specific and one broad and separate the two. This way, the reason that this is advantageous is because this way you're broad enough to come up in all the searches, but you're still specific enough to resonate with your particular target audience. So for example, easiest way for me to relate to it. In fact, let me pick something else. Let me go and pick something else. If you did conversion rate optimization, I might say website developer and then / conversion rate optimization expert for e-commerce brands, for example, right? So you do one thing that's broad and then you do one thing that's more specific so that you still come up in the searches, but you still resonate, right? So that is title, okay? Now, next thing, again, this is important, description. Your description is the next thing that you have to fill out on your UpWork account. And this is important. Now, your description must do 4 things. Firstly, it must explain what you do. Has to explain what you do. If it doesn't explain what you do, then it's a useless description, right? The next thing it should do is it needs to explain who you do it for. So who you do it for. Next thing is it must tell you the overall transformation that you provide for your clients. And then it also has to get people to message you. All right. Now, a top tip for your description is always to put your offer in your first line. Now, the reason that I say that is very important to do is just because your offer should explain what you do, and it should explain who you do it for, and it also should tell the overall transformation that you provide to your clients. So with just your offer, which should be a sentence, you'll be able to tick off 3 of the things that you must do, okay? Now, in terms of your description, overall, it has to sell you and make you stand out and make people want to message you. Now, the overall goal of everything that you're doing with your profile on Upwork is to get people to message you. Now, I'm going to explain why. So, if people message you, the benefit of people messaging you on Upwork is that now you can contact them and follow up with them forever. If people don't message you back when you're applying to jobs, then you can never message them again and they're done. Okay? So, making people message you is very, very, very important. We're going to get more in depth onto that moving forward, but that's everything that's something that you should keep in mind, okay? Now, scroll down further. Don't ramble on for too long in your description. Now, my preference is to keep my description short and sweet so people actually listen, and I include my offer in the first sentence and add a bit of personality. So that's my little tip with the description. Now, if you look at my description, it's super, super simple. I help coaches, consultants, and agency owners to find and monetize their niche. Then I say, if that tickles your fancy, shoot me a message. Very, very simple, right? Now, people actually think that the description is more important than it is. And again, I don't just want to disregard everything and say everything's not important. But as long as you tick off these 4 things, I mean, you don't need to be a super, super copywriter to get the most clients and have the best description. If you search for people on Upwork, you'll see that the people who are the highest earners on Upwork don't necessarily have the best descriptions, okay? Now, look, I said that surprisingly, this doesn't actually matter as much as you think it would, so don't spend too long on this, okay? Now, next thing, portfolio. See, this is what I meant when I said the testimonials. Portfolio. This does matter, okay? Now, in your portfolio, build a portfolio. Quite simple. Now, if you don't have a portfolio, if you don't have anything to build, then collaborate with someone, tell them that you'll get them clients, if you can leverage their testimonials, and put your clients and on your first client, split the money with them. So your job is just to get clients, okay? So if you don't have any work, any previous work that you've ever done, then go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, reach out to someone, say to them, hey, how you doing? Yeah, if I give you clients, what's your white label price? You find out their white label price, you talk to them, you say, okay, cool, perfect, brilliant. Would I be able to leverage your testimonials if I can give you some people to white label? 9 times out of 10 people are going to say yes, especially if you find people on Fiverr. So that is how you're going to make your first portfolio. And again, in terms of portfolio, fill it out as much as possible, add as many different slides as possible, just really, really, really bulk this up. The more that you bulk this up, the less people are really going to look through it. So bulk it up. Make sure that it looks good, and make sure that your portfolio, you're showing before and afters, and make sure that it's as specific as possible, okay? Now, next thing that you need to do, let's touch on that. Now, next thing that you need to do is you'll have an intro video. So Upwork will ask you for an intro video, and we're going to get more into that later on. Here, that part is where you're going to include your VSL, okay? So we're going to come to that in step 5. Now, work history. This is important, okay? And this is going to be quite difficult to do. So this is one of the most important things. So having a good job history is one of, if not the most important aspect of having a good profile. And there's no way to avoid that. But the problem is when you're new, you're not going to have a work history. So it's a catch-22. It leaves you between a rock and a hard place. When you're brand new, your profile will be weak. There's nothing that you can do about it. So what can we do about it? There are a few things that you can do. So first thing is you can do work for friends and ask them to leave you a good review. That is what I did. Those times it was you were allowed to do it. I'm not 100% sure if you're allowed to do it. Remember when I first got into Upwork, it was a long time ago. So do work for a friend and ask them to leave you a good review, or find a client off of Upwork and ask them to leave you a good review. But I understand not everyone can do that. So if you can't do that, bid for any and every job and take small payments if needs be, because 5-star reviews are the most important thing at this stage. Having a good work history is very, very, very important. So you must find a way to do that. Like I said, get a friend to leave you a good review if you can, or bid for any job, take any type of payment, just so people can run some money through the Upwork account. Now, next thing, job success score and badges. So getting a 100% job success score is very, very important. Very, very, very important, okay? Now, what you'll see is that I have a 100% job success score, which means that all the people that I've ever worked with have been happy with me. Look, as you can see, I've got loads of 5-star reviews because I used to take people and through their first month, I would get them to pay me through Upwork, and they would always leave good reviews because I did good work. Now, getting a 100% JSS or job success score is very important, and you'll typically get this after 3 to 5 reviews. Very, very important part. Again, the way that you get these reviews is through this, but this is something that's probably going to be an ongoing thing that you're going to do as you're moving through the ranks on Upwork. It's not going to be something that you can do early doors. And once you have a 100% job success score for long enough, you'll become top rated. Now, again, as you see, I'm top rated. Very, very important to be top rated. Look, being top rated and having a good work history trumps everything else on this. I could leave everything else blank, but because of my work history and job success score, if I bidded for a job and someone with a filled out profile with no work history, no job and 0% JSS, I would get the jobs over them. All right, that's just the cut and dry of it. That's just the facts, right? So these 2 things are the most important. Not saying that these things aren't important, but if you want a good profile, these are the most important things that you go for. Okay, so at this stage, we've done 4 steps, right? So now, moving forward, you should have an Upwork account, should be an optimized Upwork account, and you've got your offer. Okay, but if we left it there, then we'd be like every other Upworker. And there's many, many, many Upworkers. Upwork isn't as niche as you might think. It's not probably even as niche as I think. I feel like people don't know about Upwork. People must know about Upwork, okay? Because there's a lot of competitions on these jobs. Now, the way that we're going to stand out from them is by building in conversion assets. Now, this is why this is so powerful. It's because the reason that this trumps everything else is because you're taking a method that's normally used for cold email and for paid traffic, and you're applying it to a space like Upwork where nobody else is doing this yet. You got to get on it quick, because once I make this video, a few people might jump on it. But this is exactly the same methods. All the conversion assets are the same methods that we're using with our Sales Academy. So all of this, all these methods that we're using, that you can see, this whole landing page, the VSL, the enroll now, the calendar, etc. Everything is exactly the same as what you're going to do on Upwork, okay? So the first thing that you need to do, the first conversion asset that you need to make is your video sales letter. That is this. That's this video. With my old offers, that's this video. That is this video. It's the most important part by far. So in your video sales letter, I'm going to show you how to build a video sales letter. This is really going to set you apart from everyone else on Upwork when you're applying to the jobs. Okay, this is the real gold dust. The real gold dust has started now, right? This stuff's relatively easy. Step 3 is a good step. Step 3 is a good step. But step 5 is gold dust, okay? So video sales letter. Now, this is one of the most important parts of your funnel, if not the most important part, okay? This is what's going to set you apart from everyone else applying to the same role as you on Upwork. Now, before we get into it, there are some important things to note when you're making that video, okay? When you're making your video, have a good background. Now, it doesn't mean that you need the Burj Khalifa in the background. You can just have a clean background, like this is a blue background. You need good lighting, very, very important. Good lighting, okay? Good audio, very important. But iPhone quality will do, as long as you've got all these other things in check. You should dress well and look sharp. Probably, I might wear a hoodie, but I probably wouldn't wear a hoodie. I'd probably dress a bit smarter. Now, that's not to say that I'd wear a suit and tie, but I'd probably just wear a nicer top and speak confidently. These things are very, 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 very important. Very, 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 very important, okay? Very important, because they're your first impression, okay? Now, in terms of what you say in the video and how you make the video, I'm going to break down every step. So the first thing that you have in your VSL is you have a bold, bodacious headline. So we should always start our VSL with a clickbaity first sentence, and one that always works well is desired transformation isn't rocket science. So for example, for this offer, I would say lowering your cost per acquisition at scale isn't rocket science. For this one, I would say finding and monetizing your niche isn't rocket science, right? Very, very easy. That is a simple thing that works, followed straight away with your offer. So again, if I go back, lowering your cost per acquisition at scale isn't rocket science. In fact, we guarantee e-commerce brands a lower cost per acquisition at scale in the next 28 days, or we pay you. There we go. That would be the first line. Very, very, very simple first line, okay? Now, as soon as we've said that our offer is bold and bodacious, has to be bold and bodacious. After we've said something bold, you have to back it up. Same thing like what I did in this video. I said I was going to help you turn $750 into $10,000 a month, and I went straight onto Stripe to show you the proof. Reason being, imagine if I had never done this before. You now wouldn't want to listen to me. The fact that you know I've done this actually makes you want to listen. And because of that, now everything I say hits a little bit deeper. Same thing that you're going to do in your VSL, okay? Now, after you've spoken about your offer, you need to back up these claims. Anybody on earth can make big claims, but very few people can back it up with hard facts. So here is where you will add your case studies of all the people that you've helped. Now remember, like I said, if you have case studies, great. If you don't, remember you've asked someone and they've allowed you to leverage them. If you haven't asked someone to leverage your case studies yet, don't go forward, go back, find someone that's willing to be a white label as long as you can leverage their testimonials, okay? Now, unequivocal proof and framing is done with everything that you do, okay? So it's not just showing case studies. How you speak, how you look, how you're dressed, your body language, your tonality, your background. At the start of the call, it says call, at the start of the video, you need to immediately look like an expert and give people a reason to listen to you. It is the first impression that you give. So if I started this video, the lighting was bad, the audio was rubbish, I had graffiti in the background, and I just looked really down and out, and I spoke with not much conviction, and I was like, hey guys, look, I think that I can help you to make a bit of money on Upwork. I'm not sure if it works, but I think I can. And I was moping around. Even if I said the exact same things, you wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't be deemed as an expert. Whereas if you got your chest out, you speak, you're confident, you got good tonality, you speak like an expert, you assert yourself, and you have good testimonials, and you have good lighting, all these things on top of each other, automatically they make you look like an expert, right? It's just natural. We all do it. Same thing in your VSL. You need to look like an expert and feel like an expert, because that's what's going to make you different from everyone else on Upwork that's applying for these same roles that you are, right? Now, if we go on, give people a reason to listen and trust you. But keep it brief. We don't want people to get too bored, and nobody likes to show off. So don't sit there for 25 minutes talking about testimonials. I'd really keep it under a minute where you're talking about testimonials. Really, really keep it quick and snappy. All right. Now, the next part of your VSL is you should reassure via identification. Now, this has 3 stages, and it's really important that people feel that you understand their individual needs. If you don't understand somebody, nobody thinks that you can fix their problems. The more specific you can be here, the better. So, have you ever spoken to someone that's upset about something and they're really down and out, and you say, oh no, I understand, like I feel you, and they're quite angry. They're like, you don't understand, like you don't get it. It's not the same. For example, if I was going through a divorce, for example, and I spoke to someone that had never been through a divorce, they're not really going to be able to help me as much. I know they're not going to. Whereas if I'm speaking to someone who's been through a divorce, I'm going to think that they can help me, right? Now, the way that we can do this, I'm not saying you have to have had people's problems, but if you can call out their problems specifically, then this helps you. So remember those adverts back in the day, like, are you feeling lonely? Do you feel like the only thing that you can do is blah, blah, blah? You know those adverts that really call you out? As cheesy as they are, there's a reason that they do that. And the reason that they do that is because if they call you out in your current state, you're going to think, this is actually for me. This can help me. Right? So you need to do the same thing in your VSL. Okay? So, firstly, you must identify with their current state. Let them know that you understand the position that they're in. Now, the way that you can let people know that you understand the position that they're in, you don't say, look, I understand the position you're in. You just talk about their current situation. So again, for me, when it was with Facebook ads, I said, look, you're probably an e-commerce brand. You're running paid traffic, but you're just struggling to scale at the moment. That is going to let someone know that I know exactly where they are. I'm now going to go a bit more in depth. And you might, so for example, I might also say in the video, and you're just a bit concerned about investing into your business because each month you're not quite sure where the money's going to come from. If that is what someone feels like, and I'm calling that out, they're really going to feel like, wow, this guy's an expert. So you must do the same thing. Now, next, you identify with their desired state. Again, you let them know that you know where they want to go. You have to let people know that, look, I understand what position you're in at the moment, and I know that you want to get here. Again, that is very, very important to do. And then the last thing that you do is you reassure them. You explain to them that it's not the end of the world. And we can actually help you get to those problems. We can solve your problems and help you to reach your desired state. Very, very, very important thing to do in your VSL. Help people know that, look, at the moment, your current situation's shit. You're going to get to a good situation. I know what situation you want to get to. But don't worry, we can help you get there. That's exactly what reassuring via identification is. Okay? Now, by the way, I know I'm zooming through this. I'm getting every single thing in for you to start your business and start making £10,000 a month. But if there's anything that you're unsure about, feel free to shoot me over a DM on Instagram. My Instagram will be in the description. So hit me a DM there and I will get back to you. But the only thing that I ask is that you subscribe and comment. And like. Then I'll help you. Obviously, if you don't want to DM me, feel free to comment and I will get back to everyone. Now, the next thing is human-to-human connection and credibility. So within your VSL, you need to be a real person and explain to people that you're just a real person, man. Tell a little bit about your story. Don't forget to throw in some subtle brags. Now, what I would say, if there's any part of the VSL that cannot be included, it would be this part. Not to say that it's rubbish, but I'd say it's the least pertinent part. And if you can't figure a way to work in your personal story to this, then it's absolutely fine. You don't have to. Okay. Now, next thing, you explain your approach synopsis. Now, this is explaining everything that's done in your system or in your unique mechanism. But at this stage, you don't reveal the actual steps of how to do it. So you might have your Facebook ad method that you're going to do, and you just talk about it as an overall technique, but you don't go in depth about, look, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write the ad copy. Next thing we're going to do is we're not going to go in depth. We're kind of letting people know that we do have a system, but we're not actually telling them the total system overall. So it'd be like at the start of this video how I was explaining that there's 9 steps, but I didn't actually dive into what those 9 steps were. Perfect. We want to string people along a little bit. Don't want to give too much away. Now, this is the most important part of your VSL. This is detailing your approach, right? This is now explaining exactly what you're going to do, how you're different, and how you're going to help people, okay? So here is the make or break of your VSL, and by far the longest part. Now, in this section, it is important that you give away as much knowledge as possible, but also keep it as brief as possible. The more info you give out, the better. If you don't feel a bit uncomfortable for leaking all of your secrets, then you haven't given out enough information. For example, me making this video, I'm literally telling you guys everything I know in one video. I'm telling you everything I know about Upwork in one video. That, when I first thought about making it, I felt, wow, I can make a lot of money if I do this. If I sold this for £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, I'd make a lot of money. That made me feel uncomfortable, so then I knew that I had to do it. Simple as that. Same thing you should do in the VSL. You should explain everything that you know about this particular subject. Now, you want people to think, wow, that was so helpful and it was free. Imagine the type of value they'll give me if I pay. That is exactly the response that you want someone to give you, especially someone on Upwork. You want to educate them. They need to know Facebook ads or whatever service it is. Like I said, I'm always going to refer to Facebook ads. They want to know how to scale their business, for example, and you're going to do a 5, 10, 15-minute video explaining how they can do that, and it's free, and this guy looks professional, and his audio's good, and his lighting's good, and he's got a good guarantee. I need to pay this guy, man. And they're going to be able to pay you top dollar compared to all the other guys, okay? Now, pick 3 to 5 things that someone must do in order to achieve their desired transformation and make it a checklist. Now, this is the things that need to be included. So firstly, it needs to be genuinely helpful. It needs to be unique. It needs to go against the grain. Go against the grain. This is particularly important on Upwork when making a VSL, because most people on Upwork are going to be applying with the same old boring applications. Every job that you apply for is probably going to have 30 to 50 people also applying for it. So you have to do something that's different. Now, the way that I do things is if there's 50 applicants, I make it 1 versus 49. I go so far against the grain. I explain that, look, this method is not actually as good as you think. Obviously, it has to be true. You can't go crazy. But you should explain to people, look, all these people, they're going to make you mad promises. They're going to say to you that they can do this, they can do that. It's not true. If you do that, now people are making a decision between 49 and you. You don't want to be part of that 49. You want to be against them, okay? Next thing is it has to be based on fact and not opinion, okay? Now, moving forward through our video sales letter, you need to show the prospect that they have 2 possible decisions to make, okay? They have 2 possible decisions. Now, the reason that you do this is near the end of your video sales letter, is because people don't like to make decisions. So if they can not make a decision, they will. So you need to let them know subconsciously that not taking action is also a decision. Now look, this isn't something that's going to blow people's socks off, but it's something that's a little bit subconscious. So you tell people that there are two decisions that they can make. And it's important to show a juxtaposition between the two. So they can either come with you and you change their lives, or they continue to do what they're doing and they continue to struggle. Essentially, that is what it is. Okay. Now, at the end of your VSL, at the end of your video sales letter, you need to reiterate who it's for, show more case studies, and add a call to action. So the exact lines that I use is, so if your current state and you want to desired state, just like case study and case study, then book your free consultation. But instead of calling it a consultation, I usually call it something called like a scale session or something along those lines. Okay, so after this, you've scripted and you've made your video sales letter. You need a one-page funnel to put your video sales letter. So it needs to go somewhere, right? There needs to be somewhere that it lives. So you've made the video, but now you need to make the actual website to host the video on. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a one-page funnel. Now in the one-page funnel, the first thing that we have is we have our offer. So in large writing at the top of the page, we have our offer, and it should be big and bodacious. So again, if we look, offer at the top of the page, offer at the top of the page, and even now, offer at the top of the page, not so much. Obviously, this isn't quite an Upwork funnel, but offers at the top of the page, okay? Now, after we have the offer, next thing that we have, that's mine. Oh, look, this is a different offer. It's another one that I've run on Upwork. After we have the offer, the next thing that we have is we have our video sales letter. Our video sales letter is the next thing down that we have. Now, by the way, the video sales letter is the same video that we're going to have on our Upwork profile, exactly the same video. But like I said, next thing you have is your video sales letter. It is one of the most important parts of your sales funnel. You could honestly just have the first three stages. So you could just have your headline, video sales letter, and then a booking page if you wanted to. I'm going to go above and beyond because I always do, because I want you guys to be the best and I want you guys to make sure that you get to 10K. But you could just have that. Now, next thing that you have is you have your booking page. Now, this is going to be a calendar on your page where people can actually book. So again, look, it's not valid because it's not online at the moment. But if we look, there's a booking page there. Again, there's a booking page there. Again, we have offer, VSL, booking page. Always, always, always the case. After they have the video, people need to easily be able to book in and talk to you. You've got to easily book in and talk to you. So again, this is what your funnel should look like. What it should look like. Now, after that, you should explain where most people go wrong and also showcase how you are different. Okay? And obviously this needs to relate to your niche. So here's an example of my headlines and what I wrote for my niche. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this, but if anyone actually wants this cheat sheet, this page, just shoot me over a DM and I will send it over to you if anyone wants all of my notes. Okay? So that's the next thing that you should have on your website. Now, again, what I want to show, this is the same formula that we're still using. Why most sales reps don't make money. And how we're different. Same thing, always, always, always. Look, the number one reason why most consultants can't scale, why our clients are able to scale. Look, if we go down, why most e-com brands can't scale, why our clients scale. Why most people can't reach 10K in 90 days. It's the same thing. Now, next thing is we need an overview of our mechanism. So if we refer back to the offer that we made in step 3, we should explain the exact approach that we take with our clients to help them get to their desired outcome. Again, here is an example. So with the offer that we made in step 3, we need to think of an exact route of how someone goes from their current state to their desired state. And that is what we have right here. Okay. Now, next thing down that you have is you have your case studies. So again, we have our case studies on this one. We have our case studies on this one. I just like to show you guys that it is an exact method. The method doesn't change. The method doesn't change. It's always the same. So next we have case studies. Then we have more booking pages. And then after that, you add your optional features. So you could have an FAQ, you could have an explanation of your journey, deeper insight, lots of other things that you could have if you want them, but they're not absolutely essential. Okay. So just to show you at the moment what we've built out, and again, I know I'm zooming through this. The point is that I cover absolutely everything in one video. And then what you guys do is you come back, you watch this many times, you piece the things together, and then you shoot me a message if you're stuck on anything. So at the moment, we've found our service. So we know an in-demand service. We built an offer out of the service. We then built an Upwork account around the offer. We've now built a video sales letter, again, around this one offer. And we've now built a one-page funnel around the offer. Okay. Now, after we've built a one-page funnel around the offer, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to need a sales script. Now, the reason that you're going to need a sales script is because the way that this sales funnel goes is you go Upwork outreach to VSL, someone books a sales call, and then you collect the cash. So on Upwork, people aren't just going to send you money once you message them, apply for the job, show them your fancy website, and now they pay you. No, you're actually going to have to get them on a sales call and speak to them first, okay? Which is absolutely fine, okay? Because we're ready for this. So the sales script is super, super important, but more than that, being able to genuinely implement the framework/script is more important than that. So the sales script is important, but being able to use it is even more important. Now, if you would like a sales script, then shoot me a DM on Instagram, okay? Because I have not only a sales script, but I also have a 1-hour breakdown on the sales script. And if you want to DM me on Instagram, my Instagram is here. Now look, you know us, we have a sales academy where we teach people sales, and we also help them get a guaranteed sales role where you can also make $10,000 a month. And it's probably a lot easier than this, but this is another method that definitely can make you £10,000 a month. So if you are interested in that, then shoot me over a DM. But you know, I couldn't cover sales without making it take a long time, and I know this is already going to be a long video, a video where everything is included. So if I added a sales script on top of it, now I'd be looking at a 10-hour video. I'm not going to do that to you guys, okay? So next, we have our sales deck. So we've got our sales script, we've got our one-page funnel, we've got our VSL. The next thing you need is a sales deck. Now, in a sales deck, you have a case study deck. Now, the first thing is you could build your case study deck by building everything out onto Canva and presenting it, or alternatively, you go for a more natural approach and show case studies one by one to make it seem like it's something that's not set up and it's casual. But regardless, you're going to need a case study deck. And the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need a visual overview of your mechanism. And there are 2 visual overviews of a mechanism that make sense. Now, the reason that you need a visual overview of your mechanism is, and by mechanism, just to be clear, that is again, this is your mechanism, this is your steps that you take. Again, in your VSL, that is this section, detailing your approach, okay? The same things are included, but they're just going to be in different places. Now, the reason that it's important to have a visual representation of what you're going to do for your clients, of exactly the step-by-step path that you're going to take to get them to your offer, is because firstly, it professionalizes what you're doing, especially if you're a newbie, especially if you're brand new to this. Actually having a professional, making people think that you look professional, think that you've done this many times before, is going to help you massively. And the second reason that it's going to be helpful is because it's also going to help the prospect get their head around your offer and actually start to believe that they can get there. Okay, very, very important to do. So here are examples. So Lucid app is something that you could use for this. Now this is the Lucid app that I used to use, and I actually copied this off of someone, I believe. So this is one that you could use. Again, not this exact thing, but this is made sense for my niche. But you should make a step-by-step guide on Lucid app, and you should also make a step-by-step guide that is just written out. Okay, very, very important to make the 2 different ones. Some people prefer to see things visually, and other people prefer to see things written out, but it's very important that you do so. Okay, so that is the sales deck fully built out. So now you've got an Upwork account, you've also got a funnel, you've also got a VSL, and you've also got your sales script and sales deck. So you're now actually ready to reach out to people on Upwork. Now, most people would just build an Upwork account and start outreaching and not make any money and wonder why. The reason why is because they haven't done this setup before. If you haven't done this setup, you're going to come unstuck, okay? So now you've done all this. Look, we've come a long way, guys. We are 10 pages in. We've only got 2 pages left. We're doing a good job. So, building your outreach system. Step 6. Outreach must be systemized because you're going to be sending out proposals at mass. Okay? We're not going to be sending a few proposals a day. We're going to be sending at mass. That is how you're going to make money, and that is why you need the $750, because we're going to be sending at mass. Now, that's the only way that you're going to be able to scale to 10K a month so quickly, is by sending at mass. Okay? So, cover letter. Yeah? The goal of your cover letter is to capture attention / pattern interrupt. In fact, before that, let me show you my cover letter straight away. This was my cover letter for this niche. Okay? So, salutations, first name, then my offer, then I back up my offer, then I do a little brag, I back up my offer again, and then I ask questions. Okay, now I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break it down. So, first thing that we need to do is to capture attention / pattern interrupt. So let's look where I've done that. Salutations. Now, it's not the maddest pattern interrupt in the world, but typically, most people are going to say, hey, hello, good afternoon, hello, sir. I've said salutations. Now, the next thing that I've done is I've also put the person's name in there. Now, someone's name is often the biggest pattern interrupt of all. But the reason that it's extra important on Upwork is because on Upwork, most of the time, you can't actually find someone's name. And it's not like an easy place to find someone's name. So most people just copy and paste and spam out their cover letter. Some people even use bots to spam out their cover letter. Now, instead, what I would always do is I'd include people's names. So I'd look for it through their reviews. I'd look through their profile just to try and find their name. Obviously, if you can't get the name, it's fine. But salutations, first name, makes it seem a bit more personalized because most people don't say hello by saying salutations. Okay, so that was my attempt at a pattern interrupt. It's not to say it's the best in the world, not to say that you've got to use it, but that was my pattern interrupt. Now, the next thing that your cover letter does is it gets someone to message you back. Now, where have I done that? Well, I've done it here. I've asked them questions. How soon are you hoping to get started? That was the last thing that I say. How soon are you hoping to get started? Now, if I actually break down the structure, again, pattern interrupt, we touched on that. Let's go to the next part. So, pattern interrupt is first. Next part is your offer. The more specific, the better. So, straight after the pattern interrupt, we throw in our offer straight away. Now, what's so strange is that this is very similar to the VSL. Very similar to the VSL. We have our bold headline, our pattern interrupt, and then we throw in our offer. Really weird. But what you'll start to notice is that every single thing you do will be in alignment with that. We're always going to do that. We're always going to interrupt people and use our offer. So, next thing that we do is we throw in our offer again, as you can see. After that, after our cover letter, we show proof / drive people to our landing page. So after we've thrown in our offer, it's bold and bodacious. So we have to back it up. As I said, anyone can make a claim. Not many people can back it up. So we back it up. Instead of me explaining, let me show you how we can be so confident. Remember, I'm just trying to drive people to the landing page, man. That's what sets me apart from these other guys. I want people to go to my landing page. Now, pardon me. If people don't go to the landing page, we do another small brag. Specific brag. So we touch on something specific to our niche. We have a little humble brag. Very quick. And again, we back it up. Every time we brag, we back it up. Every time we say something, we show proof. Now, next step, we reference the video / voice notes that we attached. Now, I'm going to touch on that shortly after, but mention that we asked you some questions in a video or voice note and we'd like you to listen to them or to watch it. And then the last thing that you do is you ask relevant questions to bait a response. Everything you do on Upwork is to get people to message you back, because when they message you back, now you can follow up with them forever. If someone doesn't message you back, now you're left. So I always add a PS, and I always have a question as a PS because it feels personal. It makes people feel like, oh, he really means it. If you ask the question at the start, people probably won't answer it. It's like having a call to action right at the end. We've done all our working. Now we throw a question at the end, hope to get them to answer. And also the question is a very simple answer. How soon are you hoping to get started? It's not a complicated question. Someone can quickly hit back and say, hey, looking to get started as soon as possible. Bam, got them. Okay, so that's the cover letter. That's how to make a perfect cover letter. Okay, very simple. What you notice is because we've built all of this stuff out, cover letters, etc., can be very, very simple. You don't have to work as hard as the other people do because we've done the work on the front end. Now, next thing, something I do to stand out is I add a video and a voice note every time I apply to a job. So I attach personalized videos and voice recordings to every prospect we message. And I say personalized because it's not, but it needs to look personalized. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, how do we make a video look personalized? The first thing that I do is I don't make the video look super professional. So I might even start recording and say, is it recorded? Oh, hi. For example, that was a bad example because it looked a bit obvious, but you get what I mean. Or at the end of the video, I might leave the video running for a bit and close it. So not overly professional. Second thing, you might even slip up on your words. That's okay because it's meant to look personalized. Next thing that we do is we ask the person questions in that voice note. So we say, hey, just wanted to send you over a voice note because I know nobody else would. Look, just wanted to introduce myself very briefly to you. So hi, my name's Cam and we help e-commerce brands to lower their cost per acquisition in 28 days. Just had a few questions about the job that you posted. I was wondering, firstly, when you were looking to get started, which I know I mentioned in the message that I sent, but also I was wondering what you're currently doing in terms of paid traffic at the moment and how much money you're currently spending. Yeah, that was all. Just wanted to introduce myself and stand out. So yeah, if you can get back to me as soon as. Bam, that's the video done. Very simple video. Asking them questions. Again, the reason we're asking them questions is because we want to bait a response all the time. So we're going to ask them questions. Okay? Be smiley, introduce yourselves, and ask questions. Now, after this, the next thing that you will need is a case study deck. So just attach your case study deck. So this will be the same case studies that you included on your profile, and it will be the same case studies that you use in your VSL, be the same case studies that you use on your landing page, but just attach them. So as you're going to start to see, we're going to start repeating things because people don't look everywhere. So we need to make sure that we're covered all bases. Wherever someone looks, our testimonials are there. Okay. Next thing is follow-ups. So whenever someone replies, you should have the same response always. And I'm going to get into it a bit more in detail now. Okay. So whenever someone replies, and again, you need this written out. So as you can see, I literally have this written out because it's the same process. Every single time that someone asks, it's the same process. Okay. Anytime someone replies to me, we want to take the conversation off of Upwork. Okay, I'm going to explain that a little bit further in a little bit more depth, but we don't want to be going back and forth in the DMs on Upwork because that's where everyone else is. We want to take them away from the noise. Okay, I'm going to explain this moving forward, but that's all you need to know now. So whatever someone says, you reply with this structure. Hey, name, thanks for the speedy or detailed or kind response, whatever their response is, thanks for it. You then respond to their compliment, comment, question, whatever they've said. Your next line is, let's book in a call to discuss this project further. The best way would be on one of our free consultations that you can book using this link. Again, we're putting them straight over to the funnel. Whenever we talk to someone, they need to go to our funnel, man, because we worked hard on this. We worked hard on the funnel, and the reason we worked hard on the funnel is for you guys to see it and for it to make us some money, man. So we need the people to see the funnel, okay? So now you have your outreach your outreach scripted out. This is all it is. Look, in a Google Doc, everything's scripted. The next thing that you can do, and if you're lazy like me, people will ask questions. So any question that people like to ask and that people have been asking a while, I just put them down and copy and paste them. But that's not absolutely essential. So once we have our outreach scripts made, The next thing to do is to actually apply to jobs. This is the juicy part. This is the part where we make some money, man. This is the money maker. This is where we make all the money and have a good time. So, step 7, apply to jobs. Now, you'll notice I have 6 steps before applying to jobs. Most people will apply to jobs in step 2, but that's why they don't get the jobs. They're not putting the work in on the front end. All right? So, apply to every job that matches this criteria. Whoops, I gave myself away. So, firstly, don't worry too much about the price point unless it's unreasonably low. And you're going to start to figure out what unreasonably low is, okay? Now, only apply to jobs in first world countries. Only apply to jobs that fit your niche. Only apply to jobs that you can genuinely help with. Only apply to jobs that are not older than 24 hours old. And only apply to jobs that you match the preferred criteria. Okay? That is the jobs that you're going to apply to. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to go and look through jobs live right now with you guys, just very quickly, and let you know. So, if I was a Facebook ad specialist, for example, and I was doing it for e-commerce brands, we'll have a look. I'll have a look through a job that might be good. Creative strategist, direct-to-consumer ads. I'm just going through very quickly, but I will just let you know a job that I might apply for. I might be a bit picky here because I want to find the perfect job, because you guys are watching and I feel under pressure. So here, look, Facebook ad specialists need to help us with the digital marketing of our campaign. So I would possibly apply to this job. Now, where is it? It's in Cyprus. Not the worst place in the world to be from. Not super ideal. Fixed price is okay. I meet all the preferred criteria, which is good. So I'll go ahead and I'd apply for a job like this. Now let me show you a job I wouldn't apply for. For example, this one is a job in India. Now I typically wouldn't apply for a job in India just because, look, I'm not saying that you guys can't, but just because in my previous experience, it hasn't gone too well, especially with students applying for jobs in third world countries. Again, if we picked one, for example, if we went here, we might apply for this role. As you can see, look, these guys have FAQs, so you might want to, that's going to take a little bit longer to apply, so it's okay. But look, preferred qualifications, that's something that I wanted to touch on. Preferred qualifications. So these guys need a job success score of at least 90. Now, luckily, I do have that. If I didn't have a job success score of 90, then I wouldn't apply for this job, because you're just going to be put to the bottom of the barrel every single time. So there'd be no point doing so. Now, what you'll notice is I don't really pay much attention to the hourly rate, because that doesn't matter. We charge based on retainers. So regardless of what their hourly rate is, doesn't actually matter. Expert is good. Everything else is good. So based off of my criteria, don't worry about the price point. Apply for jobs in a first world country. It fit the niche. Yeah, I can help. Yeah, it's not older than 24 hours. Yeah, and we match the preferred criteria. That's all that we need to check for. Now, what we're going to do is we apply to every single job for 100 days that matches this criteria. Now, I'm not saying to apply to 5 jobs a day, 10 jobs a day. I'm saying apply to every single job. Don't miss one. Every single one. If you want to get to 10K, every single job. Now, the quicker that you apply to jobs, the more likely you are to be hired. So this job is 2 hours old. Oh, sorry, it posted last week because it's a featured job. Ignore that. This job here, for example, is 2 hours old. So I'm way more likely to get hired than somebody who applies in 3 days' time. Same thing with what I do. When I post jobs on Upwork, I probably look at who gets back to me in the first 6 hours. After that, I've probably made up my mind. I've already had conversations with 20 people who I want to pick, and I'm just going to make my decision between them. Very unlikely that I'm going to pick someone that applies a few days afterwards. Now, because of that, what I typically do is I do 3 to 4 job application sessions throughout the day. So I apply as soon as I wake up, I apply just after lunchtime, I apply at dinner time, and then I apply just before I go to bed, and I repeat the process. Now, what I will do is I will make sure to not miss a single job. So I will put this to 50. and I will go through and I'll apply to every single job, and I will only stop when I see a job and and I go far back enough to where I've just applied for every job, and I'll do that for 100 days. Now, what else are we going to do to make sure that we get every job is we're going to boost our applications unless it feels unreasonable. Now, that is why you have the $750. Now, what boosting an application means is it means that, for example, if I applied to this job and I clicked on apply now, all I would do is I would come through and I would say never. I would copy and paste my cover letter. I would answer these questions. I would put my video in here. I would put my case study deck in here. I would then come and apply. Now this one has no bid, so all I would do is I'd probably apply 20, and I'd bid at 20, and then I would search it through. Now, sometimes there's going to be jobs, so what I'll do is I'll try to find one. I'll find this that job that was verified that I found. Hopefully I can find it. Cool, this job. It's very likely that this job has already been boosted by people and you have to bid on it. Very likely, so let's actually see, just to make sure, but it's very likely there is. Oh, you can't bid, you can't boost this job. Some jobs you can't boost for. But sometimes people have boosted. Now, I always try to be the top bidder. With that said, if somebody for some reason has put a boost of 150 connects, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do 151 because it's just a waste of money. So after a while, you'll start to get a feel for what feels unreasonable. But I would always try to be the highest bidder if I can, and I'd apply to every single job. That is why it's going to cost you $750. There's no escape for that. Okay, now, next thing that we're going to touch on is the sales process. The sales process, as I mentioned. Now, sorry, lost my train of thought. After you've started applying to jobs, now you need to think about the sales process. So you've already got the outreach system locked in, and you've got everything on the back end done. So after you apply to jobs, if you're applying for every single job, you're going to start getting replies. Now, as soon as you get a response, you want to take them straight to your funnel, straight off of UpWork. Now, the reason that you want to do this is because everybody else is on UpWork. You want to take them away from the noise. It's the same thing when you're running paid traffic. You want to get your prospects off of where it's noisy. So if it's noisy on Instagram, you want them away from Instagram. Same thing, it's noisy here. Your prospect is distracted with 101 things. So you want to get them onto your website where all they can do is think about you. So you need to get them away from that other guy who's really good, that other prospect who's done a million other jobs on Upwork before, and you want to get them onto your funnel. On your funnel, when they're on your funnel, they're safe there, okay? So you want to get them off of Upwork, always. People are going to tell you, look, talk to me here, please message. If somebody says please message, just say to them, hey, sorry, I'm sure you can imagine we're on a super, super tight schedule and would love to work on this. If you could just please book something in, that way it would be the best way to get all my attention. Don't let the people on Upwork flip the script and make it seem like you're begging them for work. You are the prize. That's how you got to see things, because you're the only one with this particular offer. So we get them off of Upwork. And if you do this correctly, you should be able to book 2 to 3 sales calls per day. Now, with your offer, funnel, VSL, and case studies, you'll easily stand out compared to everyone else. But your only problem will probably be price. Now, because of that, you're going to need good sales skills. So what I would do is I would have a downsell. We're going to touch on the sales calls, but what I would do is I'd have a downsell. So at the start of my sales calls, I'd figure out affordability, and if they don't meet it, instead of trying to force them to buy something higher or telling them, look, I can't help you, because lots of people on Upwork won't be able to afford, especially if you're high ticket, I'd offer them something that is at a lower price that delivers the same results, but's done with you instead of done for you. So for example, we used to run Facebook ads for our clients, and we would charge £2,000 a month. But when we first started, if someone couldn't afford that £2,000 a month for us to do it, I would say, okay, cool, not to worry, for £500 a month, we can consult you on how to run your Facebook ads, for example. Very, very important thing to include there. Now, You will need good sales skills. I want to bold this. You will need good sales skills. If you don't have good sales skills, you're not really going to make money on Upwork. Now, the best way to practice to get good at sales is to the best way to get good at sales calls is to take more sales calls and to practice. Yeah, goes without saying. Or you can enroll into our academy. It's a shameless plug. If you enroll into our academy, we're going to teach you how to sell, and you're going to be a sales expert. But if you don't want to do that, then obviously it's going to take a lot of practice, which is absolutely fine. Okay. Now, the only thing that I do want to mention, is that you must collect money on the call, or at very least schedule a call back. And this is especially important because you're on Upwork. Because you're on Upwork and there's so many other people bidding for these jobs, if you don't collect money on the call and you don't schedule a call back, even if someone says they're going to move forward, what's going to happen is they're going to get off the call, they're going to be spoken to by 49 other people, they're going to get swooped away, and they're going to forget about you. So you take money, whether that's a deposit, whether that is full price, of course, which is what you're looking for. And very worst case, you schedule a call and you book that call in on your calendar using the same link. That's worst case scenario. Now, when you're in your first 3 months, you want to collect all your payments on Upwork. This is just a little top tip. But after that, I personally started to use Stripe to collect the money because the payout was a lot quicker and they have smaller fees. So when you get to my profile and you see that I've supposedly only made 4K on Upwork or 5K, can't remember how much it is, you might think, oh, he's a fraud. I didn't actually take payments on Upwork because they take a long time to pay out and they have smaller fees. Okay. Now, step 9, this is how to scale, how to automate it, how to make it passive income, because I know everyone wants that. But only do this once you're consistently at 10K a month and once you want to get to over 10K a month. So the way that we scale and automate is for service delivery, up until 10K a month, service delivery can either be you or you can outsource the work to someone else on Upwork or Fiverr. To get above 10K a month, you must outsource the service delivery. There's no chance that you have to outsource the service delivery if you want to get above 10K a month and make it automated. Next thing that you can do in terms of applying for jobs, after you've learned the application process thoroughly and you're making a consistent 10K a month, I would hire someone who lives in your country to do the applications for you, and I'd pay them 5 to 15% based off of the commission on the deals that you close. So that's what I used to do in my biggest months when I made £27,000. I paid one of our setters. I paid them a 15% commission on all deals that were closed. To be honest, I didn't have to pay them 15%, but that's just what I'm like. I always want people to make good money when they work with me, so that's what I did. Now, sales calls. You can hire a closer for you, though I wouldn't recommend this until you're consistently at 20K a month. So I would always recommend that you stay involved in the sales calls process for as long as possible. But again, if you want to automate once you get to kind of 20K a month, I could have given someone the sales calls and got them to close for me, and then it would have been a completely hands-off agency that probably would have made me 10 to 15K a month without me even having to raise a finger. Okay, so that is something that you can do. And when I say without having to raise a finger, actually, let me stop myself, because I still would have had to raise a finger. That's why I don't do it anymore. So it's not that easy. There still would have been fires to put out, but that is something that you can do to be relatively low intensity, I would say, if you wanted to do, but only do that once you're consistently at 20K a month. Now, here's something that I want to say. I'm throwing in a guarantee on this video. Now, if you've watched this far in the video, you're a G. I even want you to DM me if you've watched this far in the video. If you've watched this far in the video, you're already doing better than 70% of the world, okay? But that doesn't make you that good, okay? It makes you better than 70% of the people that started this video. But most of the people that clicked on this video want to get to 10K a month, but they don't really. And I'm going to explain to you why. Even you guys viewing this, a lot of you don't really. Now, I'm going to explain why. Out of 100 people that watch this video, it gets 1,000 views, how many views it gets? If 100 people watch this video, there will be 50 people who just don't even watch it to the end. There will be 30 people that watch the video but don't ever even take notes or take action. There's going to be 10 people who watch the video who do take notes but never take action. There's going to be 5 people that start doing this and don't finish it. There's going to be 4 people that get to the end of everything and do it for about a week and think, oh, this doesn't work, this is a scam. And there's only going to be 1 person or 2 people, a few people, who are actually going to watch this, implement it, and take action. Now, the reason that that's the case is because this is on YouTube and it's free. And because it's free, you're not going to take action. But take it from me, I've got many students that are doing this exact method. There's nothing else that I gave them. I gave them this exact method and a little bit of one-to-one help. And they're now making 10, 15, 20, 30K a month and upwards. So my guarantee to you is that if anyone can follow these steps and do it consistently for 6 months and they don't reach 10K a month, then I will personally mentor you to get there. And by personally mentor you, I'll do it for you. I even go out on a limb. I will do it for you and give you the business, give you all the profit if you don't get there. That is my guarantee. That is how certain I am that you will get there. Okay? So that is a lot of stuff that we covered. I want you to watch this more than once. This is a full-on course. I want you to watch this more than one time. I want you to go through this. I want you to take notes. But more importantly, I want you to implement this and I want you to make money. So if you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you're confused with anything, DM me or leave a comment, right? If you are over the moon and you think that I'm amazing, then subscribe. And more importantly, share this to everyone that you love because you're going to help them to make more money in 2024. So guys, I will see you in another video where I will help you even more. You know my thing, I'm giving away the gems, man. You just got to subscribe and I'll keep going. That's the only motivation I need. So people, I will see you in the next one. Bye.